All right, dude, we are live.
Live. The premiere
My
tool was
my
kind of
man,
cool.
the premiere went down.
That was cool. I don't know what happened with me. I clicked on it. It was like black. I'm like, it's working, and you're like, yeah, it's working. And I don't know what I was doing. So
Yeah, you have to like go into like the page. I think it doesn't automatically pop up, which would be nice. You should,
yeah,
you should call Mark Zuckerberg and see if he'll change that for you. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you joining us tonight, man. We're just gonna chat here a little bit, and first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Dave. I want to give a shout out to Jason and the fam. It was awesome to get to meet the family and to be with, to be with Jaden and just kind of see that weekend and like just be with him, get to know him. And it was just really cool. Sandy's joining us. And so Sandy, we just really appreciate, as always, you being able to, allow us to just step foot on that wonderful place that you guys live on. And, it's just a really amazing place to create memories. And we're just, really grateful to be able, now that I even text us, I'm even more grateful every time I can be there. So just appreciate both of you and the whole family just to allow us to be there and to actually be able to create an experience by being able to use the farm. So thank you so much. Dave, I will say this, here's the thing, man. I'll let you talk, because you were we talked about the story of what this was going to be, and we had an idea of what we were going to put together. But when it comes to the editing piece, you are just like, I've just seen you grow so much with editing. And since we started, that first turkey hunt we did that first year, which ended up being 18 minutes. Or no, it was 30 minutes.
It was
right? 6 minutes.
Very long.
Man, I love how far you've come and how much you've really, like, how much God is working through you to help you become a better editor. And just like the way you put that together, and the fact that you didn't let me see it the whole time, which I'm still a little bitter about, but it did have a huge impact when I didn't get to see it till it was done. I want to hear kind of like how you put it together. I was obviously involved in being there and shooting a lot of it. I know you had to go back and reshoot it, but and if you are out there, kind of, if you have questions, if you're, questions, comments, feedback, anything about how the film was put together, maybe, what equipment we shot it on, storyline, anything. That's what we're here for tonight, just to chat a little bit about it and kind of share what our vision was of it and how it all came together.
Yeah, it was definitely the most enjoyable project that I've ever worked on. The family, Jason, Jaden, and Dave, were awesome. They were just so fun to hang out with. It's funny because I do want to touch on some of the like things that I would do different, a couple of the mistakes at some point, but one of them was shooting in the barn, the interviews we shot.
That's a good lesson right there. Bro.
Yeah, it was raining, and it's like a metal roof, and so it was loud in there. But we were like, maybe with the wireless mic or the shotgun mic faced right at them, we'll be okay. Shot it, and the interviews, as you saw in the video, were a huge part of it. Like that really kind of tied a lot of it together, and that was a big point of what we were trying to do. And we went back home, opened it up, and it was just like that's all you heard. And I was like, dude, what are we gonna do? So we actually had them come back out to the farm, and shot the interview, shot a bunch of the B-roll of them at the end that time. But it was just awesome. It was just awesome hanging out with them and getting to shoot with them. So that's just like the first thing I want to say. So
yeah. Yeah, I remember us even like trying to brainstorm how we could keep the footage, because like you could hear like some of it was good, but then like you get rain in the background. We're like, what if we go back and wait till it rains and actually film it raining on the roof? And like we're trying to figure out how to put together, and we just couldn't. And we're like, let's just do it right. We'll bring them back. That was the first thing that we shot really after we went to Josh Milligan's film school too. And so we were much better with the lighting. the setup, the audio, and how important that piece was. Let's see, Jarrett wants to know what cameras and lenses we shot it on. That's a great question. So why don't you share a little bit of that?
Sure. So this, I'm just trying to make sure I get it right. This whole project was shot on Sony mirrorless cameras. Yep. I'm trying to think what I had at the time. I think it was Corey had an A7S. We had an A7 III and an A7 R3.
Yeah.
And then the lenses that we used, 100 to 400 is a lot of the like close-up stuff. Yeah. I have a 50 millimeter. Corey has a 50 millimeter, and then I think I had the 24 to 105.
You did
too.
You
so
did.
Those were the main cameras. It was all shot on mirrorless.
Yeah, we didn't have. So. We went back to a camcorder since then, but like we shot the whole thing on mirrorless. Which, if you guys do shoot, on in a mirrorless camera, like self hunting and stuff. Trickier. I mean, we were able to set it up and be but we didn't use a GoPro. We did use a drone. There was a drone.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, a drone.
So. That's right. Yeah. Jarrett said all G Master. No, the 100 to 400 is a G Master.
Yeah.
The 24 to 105 is not a G Master. It's just a G lens, I think. My 50 is a Zeiss lens. And I don't know what did we use your 50?
My 50 is a Sony lens.
Okay.
It's a 650.
Yeah.
Nothing,
So yeah, the only one that G Master was the 100 to 400.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was too, like, for anybody that's watching this, that's kind of gotten into filming and understands shooting in different profiles and things like that. We were experimenting with shooting in log, which is like a really flat profile. It gives you more ability to do some editing and things afterwards. I don't think, was some of it shot in log? Because we were at that point.
The interviews might have been. I don't remember. I want to say they were shot in Cine 4. So I don't remember though. 100%.
Yeah, we went back to Cine 4 at some point. So, hey man, good to see you, man. What's up, guys? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Live on YouTube tonight also, which is where that's coming from.
It's good. I think the thing that I really liked about this film was that, our whole goal with when we started Rooted was to use our passion that God's given us for hunting, and then more recently given us for just videography and filming our hunts, and use that for His glory and just to share the good news of Jesus with people, and but not do it in a way where it like doesn't fit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like do it in a way that you can actually like tell a story and tell like something that's going on, tie it into what the story is, but make it seamless. And I thought that this one did a better job than previous ones, kind of doing all of those things. It's not perfect, but I thought it was better than previous ones, which I'm just proud of the way that part of it came together. And really, like we talked about it yesterday, someone asked like who is Rooted Outdoors, like what do you guys stand for? Like this, I could just show them this film and be like, this is pretty much what we stand for. So
yeah, that's what I love about it, because it's something that's going to be really timeless for us, because you do get that question a lot. What can we do to help Rooted? Like, what do you guys do with Rooted Outdoors? I mean, honestly, for a while there, we didn't really even know, right? I mean, real quick, some of you may have heard the story or not, but Dave and I, like, we started hunting together not too long ago. I've been hunting, 30 some years. Dave's not been hunting as long, but we haven't been hunting together that long, really 6 years probably. And we got together and we both found we had this passion for filming. We also had, passion for our relationship with Christ, and we just clicked on that in so many levels. And then we started Rooted Outdoors. We didn't really know what we were doing. We did a podcast for a while. We filmed our hunts. We were kind of all over the place. We went to a couple game dinners and spoke, and we just didn't really know. And then we had our first turkey hunt, which was Aiden, not Jaden. His name was Aiden. And he came to us. I remember us going, we're gonna do a free turkey hunt. We're gonna film the thing and we're gonna give it to him. It's gonna be such an awesome gift, and we'll put it on social media, and we'll have somebody in no time. And we put it out there, and we talked about it.
So you're talking for like the second year after that, basically.
The hunt we did with Aiden.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying we did a hunt, we filmed it, and then we're going to easily get the next one, you mean, because of just what it is?
Well, no, I mean, we were saying, look, like, we're going to give this hunt to somebody, and we couldn't find somebody, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of like, we didn't force it. We just prayed about it. We didn't really share it that much anymore. And then we found Aiden through your mom. His mom at the time, unfortunately, she had cancer, and just, he was going through a rough time. And after we did that one, you know what I mean? And we created the film, that we were like, this is what we were supposed to be doing with this. And then, of course, it's evolved since then.
For sure. Yeah, it's just such an enjoyable experience. And, creating films is something that we definitely have a passion for. It takes, anybody that's created a film knows how much work it takes, like just a ton of work and a ton of planning. And I feel like we could have still done more of that even. But it's just a ton of work and a ton of planning, but it's so enjoyable, like the end product, just to see like a film that you put together and has a message, and it's just cool. It's just something we just really enjoy doing. So
yeah, and this year we didn't get a chance to film one, so
I know,
we're thinking about different ways that we can potentially do a different kind of a hunt, maybe a deer hunt this fall or something like that. And I think we're at the point too where, like, I think for a while we loved film so much, we're like, when can we create another film? But I think we're like, I know where you are with the editing piece of it. It's like you'd rather spend a lot of time making sure that it looks like that one did. It has a good storyline. It has a really good message that like you said, is seamless, rather than trying to force it. Like, let's just do one, maybe two a year, probably one a year, right? And make it good. And then the rest of the stuff we do is really just vlogging and educational stuff.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's kind of where we landed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
At least right now, and things could evolve, and it could get to a point where we're just done with the vlogging and we go and we do, 2 to 3 films a year. Like, I mean, I would be all for that, but right now I feel like we're in a really good rhythm with the stuff that we're doing. And honestly, like, doing the vlog style stuff is something that we just love. Looking, like, we don't get to hunt together much anymore, being all the way across the country. So like, when you put out a video, like, I'm excited as anybody to see, like, oh, how was Corey's hunt and what did he do, and vice versa. So that side of it is enjoyable for us. And the film stuff is just kind of, it can, like you said, if you did 2 or 3 films a year, I mean, it's a lot of work. So one a year is really kind of our sweet spot right now. Youth Hunt seems to be the most ideal place for it, or it has been, at least.
So what do you think the biggest growth moment has been for you through the editing of this particular film versus like the other ones?
Sure. I think the planning of it, and really thinking out pieces. It's funny because we had the Generations idea going into it. It was tweaked, definitely a little bit tweaked, to get more of a message out of it later. But we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and I feel like that made a lot of it. And then just the planning piece of not settling on certain things. I mean, we could have settled on the interviews we had with the rain and just tried to make it work. And we could have settled on some other things, but really just took the time to try to do the best that we could with every single piece of it. I thought that was kind of the evolution of the next step in our evolution, I guess you could say.
I mean, dude, that's the one thing. Again, you did a fantastic job in the editing piece of it, and unfortunately, because I'm here, I was a part of the actual hunt itself and was able to film a lot of it with you. But there was a good portion of it. The most challenging part was bringing them back and filming more stuff and getting. There's a lot of, I think what people don't realize too, when you put together like a 10-minute film, how much actual footage you shoot to get 10 minutes, right? Like how how much footage you actually had to shoot to get that last final scene of him appearing in the field. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I wasn't even a part of that. Like, you had to film that all later because that was a later vision that we had right after we had left the farm. We're like, we should have done that. So.
Yeah, I have so many shots of them walking that path. They were probably out of gas from walking the path up and back. And it was all three of them. And then it was Jaden and his dad. And then it was just Jaden. And I was like trying to piece it together in my head. And I know people that do films more probably could have done it a lot more efficiently. But for me, I don't do it for a job or anything. So like I wanted to just capture as much as I could. I knew that they weren't going to be able to come back again. So I needed to get as much as I could to make it work.
Yeah.
It was just a lot. So there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make it.
So Dylan says he said writing the narrative was great. I agree, man. And again, like Dylan, like I saw it for the first time a couple nights ago. Dave literally hasn't showed it to me. In fact, he showed it to one of our other friends because he was getting some help on a couple things. I hadn't seen it either, man. And when I saw that, I was like, my goodness, like it's just another level. Like it was another level for you. And the voiceover was like spot on. It just was really cool. The piece, which I haven't even asked you about yet, was the piece at the end when you had the book opening, writing in the book, and then you had a black and white frame on the left. How did you do that? How did you edit that?
Yeah, so I full disclosure, Josh did help me with that some. He just told me the idea, and then I kind of took it from there. So basically I had the clip of them walking that after I was writing the book rolled into them. So I used that clip and I just made it smaller so it fit on the page. And then what I did was I put a mask around that part, and then you can actually feather the edges. So it looks like it kind of blends into the book. And then I made it black and white to blend in with the book better. And then I turn the opacity down so it was a little more like I just tried to blend it with the book, knowing that the next shot was going to be basically that shot in full color, full screen. So
that's cool. Jared's got to go. Hey man, we appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the support.
Thank you, man.
And I think he did his Route to 100 already today, so he's probably going to bed.
He did. He does it every day. He is.
Dylan says, how many clips were included? Jeez.
I'll send you the file if you want.
Well, let's just say this. There was, probably an easy way to answer that is how many maybe gigs. You probably have a better thought process on how many gigs of storage.
Sure. I can tell you. I'll literally pull it up for you now and tell you how big it was. Just the file itself. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Actually, I'm not sure if I could do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's way more than you guys probably think.
It's hundreds of gigs. 100, 200, 300 gigs, something like that. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't know how many exactly, but
yeah,
it's a lot. But I know people that do, like I said, the people that do this all the time can certainly be more efficient with it. But for us, like we get one shot at it pretty much. We were lucky to have them come out and be willing to come out and do it again. So we have to capture as much as we possibly can. So,
well, and the part that I'm upset is that they came back and I was in Texas while you guys were coyote hunting. So the one thing we learned about Jason is that he is a predator hunter, like a really good predator hunter. So that's something we can learn from him at some point.
That was cool.
So we'll have to have you back out to the farm and do some coyote hunting for sure.
That was fun.
There's plenty there.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Like the filming piece of it, because obviously you took a huge part in that. What, moving into like the next film, for you, like what would you do different? What would you think that you could do better that could make the film better based on just like the filming aspect of things?
Well, I mean, I think every time we do a film, there'll be more probably pre-thought going into it of like what shots we can get. It's tough. I think the one thing that's really tough we've talked about is that you're always going to have this element of a hunt that there's a lot that's unpredictable that happens. Sometimes they get a turkey, sometimes they don't. And that's just, you have to basically build a story around that. You can go in with it ahead of time and go, hey, we're going to get this shot. We didn't use any GoPros. I probably would incorporate some GoPros next time to get some different shots, to get some different angles. The other thing, probably the one thing that I'm seeing a lot of now and just learning a lot more about is how to use a drone in different ways so that it's not just the usual fly over the farm type, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but there's ways that you can use a drone that looks like a slider. It looks like different things. So I would say GoPros and drones, and probably just I don't know. Probably. I guess the one thing we always are working for too, when we talk about like how much footage we have, is like the better you can go into it knowing what you want to get, the less you actually have then to sift through. So that would be the other thing too. Is just getting what we want to get and knowing what you want to get. Other than the hunt, the hunt itself is just, it's basically run the camera and then you have to sift through it anyway and see what you have.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought we did. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I have, like you said, I have an A7S Sony, which is their Gen 1 mirrorless camera, but it still shoots great footage.
It does.
It does. What about you? Oh, and I would probably just do more slider because that's
of course, the slider king. I would say the biggest thing is more infield audio. I think so. I've been talking to Josh a lot recently about, like, in this situation we had 3 hunters, which makes it tricky. But like, how could we have mic'd them all up? And there's ways that you can do that. And so I think getting a wireless mic on every person hunting, like, that should really be the standard. Like, we should have a wireless mic on every single person. I think that would have added a little bit more to it. Like, some of the stuff that they were saying in the blind could have heard a little bit better. So I think that would have been it. And then also just like getting some more updates, even if it's like you and I talking or them talking, like, hey, where are we? What are we doing? Like, what's the weather? Or just like very basic stuff. I think could have, that's something that I like to focus on. But I think really the audio piece and just having everybody mic'd up at all times. Because you just, like, I'm sure there was some stuff that they said in the blind that would have just been like gold. That would have been awesome, that we just didn't have. And it worked. It worked for what we were doing. But I think that was something that I would try to work on in the future.
I think too, and we always talk about how tough this is. When you have a young kid, you have, especially with a bow, like, you're in a blind, like you're tough. Not taking a kid with all those people. I mean, turkeys have really great eyesight. I mean, you're just not getting away with much. Like, but I would like, if there was a way to do it, to get more, I don't want to say like run and gunning, but like if we weren't in a blind, I think it adds a little bit more dynamic when you're moving around to different spots, right? And you're getting shots of them walking, to a different spot or that kind of thing. Because a lot of it was, obviously in the blind itself, but that's just tricky, man. It's tricky. Yeah, when you have a kid and even an adult with a bow. I mean, yes, you can
so hard
with the bow, but
hard.
When you're filming, it's hard enough by yourself. Let's see. Jason says, this was well worth the wait. This is the greatest gift a father could get. Thanks again. Anytime, any place. Jaden and I are down for a Yote hunt. Yeah, man. Happy Father's Day, brother.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's true, man. You got him a Father's Day present.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I do think you are limited in the blind, like you said. Like, you can't. You're not moving. You're not, like, everything you're filming somebody. There's none of that, like, scenery behind them. You know what I mean? You can't like shoot through like a tree to get a cool shot. You're just kind of missing all of that, and it's okay. It's just part of the hunt. But I think if we're gonna, probably continue to do it that way, it makes the most sense. Is how do we get more creative with
the one thing we did talk about, which we kind of laughed about, but I actually think there's something too, is that you could film from a distance in a tree stand.
Yeah.
And you could get some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, or like a tree stand like above the blind, like so you kind of get the whole
Right.
field, something like that. So there is definitely ways that we could do it. And then I think the other thing too that I think you can always do more of is just more planning.
Yeah.
Try to really the best way to do it is to write like the script beforehand as best you can, because then you have an idea. Okay, when I say this line, this is kind of the shot I want to get. You obviously don't know how the hunt's going to go, so that's where this one gets slightly tricky. So I think we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but just really have like a script written out, and if we had to change it a little, we can. It makes shooting so much easier, like so much easier when you can see a script and say, okay, I said this line. What's a really good shot that goes with this line?
Yeah.
So you can tell the difference. And I'm not saying we did this perfectly because we definitely didn't, but you can tell the difference in a film that shot a bunch of pretty shots and then just filled in a voiceover over top of it, and one that did a voiceover and then filled in pretty shots that match what they're saying. It's just a difference. There's a difference.
I'll tell you one thing I would change. That I would be better at calling next year so that I could peel one of those fat gobblers away from those hens. How long did we watch those birds, man? How long?
Tough, man. I know. It was tough. I mean, just so
30
people
minutes.
know. I know we didn't really explain kind of everything in the film, what happened, but the birds came out in the field on the one side. They were probably at the closest 60 yards.
I mean, the Jakes were probably at 60. I mean, they came out first.
Yeah. And then the Toms came out, and there was a hen with them, so they weren't going to leave the hen. So we basically our only shot was to have the hen come in. She didn't. But I mean, yeah, we watched those birds in the field for probably 30 minutes, and you saw some of the footage of like them chasing the Jakes off, and then like the gobbling. Wild. And the hen like running up to the Tom, and it was really, really cool. And obviously you want to get one and harvest one, but I wouldn't take back anything about that hunt and how it turned out and what happened, because it was probably the greatest day that I've ever had in the turkey woods, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like with what we saw it was just incredible. I've never seen that before.
I remember looking over at you, and you were filming the flock, and they were pretty fired up for like, I would say 15 minutes. They went off. They were out in the field probably for like 30, but for like 15 minutes. I remember sitting there going, these birds, like you just said, they are not coming, right? It was evident they were not coming. But I was like, I thought of two things. I was like, I looked over at Jaden, and he was like so happy, so like this big smile on his face. He was so pumped about these birds gobbling because they did not shut up and they were so fired up. So like I was like, let's just get some good footage and have some fun with these birds. And it was like, dude, nonstop, right? Like
it was cool.
I would call, they gobble. I call gobble. And it was like the whole 30 minutes. And I mean, we got a lot of footage. So you saw a little bit of footage, but there was a lot.
It was so cool, man. It was such a cool morning. Such a cool morning.
We had a bird, I mean, right at light, we had a bird right behind us, probably 50 yards behind the blind in the woods. And it's probably the same one that ended up coming out. But I was like, you're sitting in the blind, you can't see behind you, and you're looking out the side windows going, where's he coming from?
Right.
And it was all morning. It was all morning like that.
Yeah. That's going to be a really, even if they did come in with the amount of birds that were there. Yeah. I mean, there was probably 2 Toms, probably 4 or 5 Jakes, and a hen, multiple hens. I don't know. So you're talking like 10, 12 birds. Like if they did come in and they're all grouped together, like to draw and to get a shot, it was going to be a big time challenge. Like you need a lone Tom, like full strut, turning his back at your decoys to draw on him. And 12 birds is, you're going to have a tough time.
A lot of eyes.
A lot of eyes.
Blind or not, that's a lot of eyes, especially for a kid that has to stand up and draw back and all that stuff. It's tough, but he had a blast. So, and
I had a blast too. So,
yeah. And, the way we look at it too, which, might be obvious or might not, but the most important thing to us is that, we give somebody an experience and they get so juiced up and the memory is so good that they get, addicted to going out and they want more. They want to be out there, so.
Yeah, man. So as far as the video, do we need to upload that now, or is that up? Do you know?
It should be up. Let me just.
Yeah, double check, because if not, we'll make sure to get that uploaded.
You want to put it on YouTube? Let me
We'll
just.
get it on YouTube. We'll get it up there. Yep.
So let's see. Yeah, I think it's up there. It's up there. So yeah,
Okay.
just go to our Facebook page and go to videos, and you'll see it.
Okay, perfect. So the one thing we would ask is if you enjoyed the video and you appreciate the message that we're trying to get across, if you could share that just with your friends and family or whoever, that would mean a ton to us. We're definitely going to try to promote this one, just to get the message of the film out, because I think it's an important message. So
it is. Yeah, please share. As always, we're looking for feedback, and we just appreciate anybody's support about what we're doing, and we'll be looking for the next experience. We just don't know what that's going to be yet.
We don't. So. Yeah, we're talking about maybe a fall doe hunt or something, deer hunt. So potential for that. But we'll certainly keep you guys posted. And if you know someone, feel free to reach out once we post that. So
yeah, and what was I going to say? And then the other thing is, we'll be doing a Texas turkey hunt next year, Texas spring turkey, and then a PA spring turkey youth hunt. So Texas in the mix next year. We got a proper
Texas. I love it.
Yep.
I don't know who this person is, but we have to shout him out because it's his birthday. I don't know who he is. No idea. Ramit. I'm shouting him out. Here's your shout out.
Happy birthday, dude.
Happy birthday. I don't know who you are, but
it's a dude. It might not be a dude.
Could be a woman. Yeah. Whoever you are, I hope you have the best birthday.
Somebody from YouTube. I don't know. Somebody. Yeah. Happy birthday. I don't know how old you are, but happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Or woman. I'm not sure. All right. I'm out. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll talk to you on Sunday for our devotion.
Yep. See you guys.
Have a good week.